46 women were vying for 24 spots as well. 16-year-old Oksana Bayul, the exciting European silver medalist from Ukraine, was second in her pool. Oksana serving notice. She'll be a medal contender here as well.
For Natalie Craig, her spins were, as always, the best in the field. And with 2 triples this time to back them up, she squeaked into the final with an 11th place finish.
Many believe China to be a developing third world country, but China's Lu Chen has already been third in the world, and her development in the past year was reflected in her winning her qualifying pool and maybe the best 5-year plan her country has ever produced.
Earlier this week, Nancy Kerrigan called this new elimination process, quote, a pain in the butt. Literally, that's what it was for Nancy. She finished second behind Saria Bonali.
At the Canadian Championships, José Chouinard appeared to have settled with the demon of inconsistency. The demon reappeared in Prague, and as a result, José qualified 4th.
Karen Preston was very typical of her practices this week. She was solid, consistent, and very relaxed to finish 4th in qualifying Group B.
At 25, Marina Kielman is an example that age and experience can overcome youth and energy as she attempts to stay ahead of a field of teenagers who possess talent beyond their years.
The judges got a good look at the improvement in the Saria Bonali package. She's come a long way in a year, and with the confidence she's shown here, many think she could come out on top.
We'll be back with more of the 1993 World Figure Skating Championships from Prague after this. National Theater in Prague provided an opulent backdrop for the skaters' draw last night, each competitor taking center stage to select their number in the skating order for each of the 4 disciplines. Canadian pairs champions Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler took their turn and hope that number 14 is their lucky number for tonight's technical program. Since their silver medal in 1990, there have been gold medal expectations for Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler. After Gordieva and Grinkov turned pro, everyone thought it was Isabelle and Lloyd's turn, but along came Natalia Mishkutenok and Artur Dmitriev, who won the next 2 world championships. Now they've gone pro, and again, everyone's looking at Brasseur and Eisler to win gold. But Barb, there's another Russian threat on the horizon.
That's right, Chris. Before arriving here in Prague, we had all but given the gold medal to Lloyd and Isabelle. However, after being here, watching the practices, I think we realized it's not going to be as easy as we thought. There are at least 4 or 5 teams that could win this event on any given night. And Paul, there's also a hometown favorite.
Well, Barb, it's always great to come to a competition like this where the crowd has something to really cheer about. Here, the Czechs in Prague have Kovaříková and Novotný, who are currently ranked #1 in the world. But their season has been suspect. They missed the podium at the European Championships. But before we get to them, we're getting ready to see our own Canadian team of Jodeyne, Higgins, and Sean Rice.
Jodeyne Higgins and Sean Rice, the young Canadians, are warming up, getting set for their World Championship debut. Before we see them, here's Gene Senft with another judge's feature on the ordinals.
Chris, in the past, when we've explained the marking process, we've tried to emphasize that the marks awarded are simply the tools to determine the placements. However, it has been confusing to understand these placements if you haven't kept track of the marks and figured it out. This year, in our broadcast, we want to help simplify the process and take it one step further. In addition to displaying the marks awarded, we will also show you the placements that these marks determine. In skating, each judge's placement is called an ordinal. All judges' ordinals are considered to determine the current rank of each skater after they have skated. Keep in mind that these rankings will change as the competition progresses and as all skaters are placed in an order. Once we get to the free skating portion of the competition, we will show you both the free skate rank and the overall rank, which is the culmination of both the technical and the free programs. Again, this overall ranking is subject to change until all skaters have performed. Using a different free skate example, the last bit of information you need to know is that the overall ranking is based on a majority consensus. While all judges' ordinals are considered, you only need 5 out of 9 judges to place you first in order to win. The rest could place you 3rd, 4th, 8th, or 6th. It doesn't matter as long as the majority places you first. To help illustrate this, think back to the Barcelona Olympics, where Sylvie Frechette lost the gold medal because of an input error on the part of one judge. In that case, all the marks from all the judges were tallied to make a total, and so the input error did have a serious effect. In figure skating, however, only the placements would have been considered, and in that case, Sylvie would have won the gold medal because the majority of judges did place her first. In figure skating, it's not what one judge does that's important. In fact, it is the group truth or the group consensus that counts.
Next to skate, Jodeyne, Higgins.
Well, Jean, Jodeyne, Higgins, and Sean Rice earned enough third-place ordinals in Hamilton to advance here to the World Championships, and quite a cheering section, including Elvis Stojko, helping them here in their World Championship debut. I'm not sure they expected to be here. Third in junior last year, the goal only to be in the top 6 at the Nationals, but they are indeed at their first Worlds.
And they're extremely excited to be here. After the Canadian Championships, I saw Sean backstage about an hour later. He was still in his skates, and he looked at me with this big, huge smile on his face, and he said, "My dreams are starting to come true." They're opening here with side-by-side double X's. Good unison. Now here is one of the nicest twists in the competition. Look at the height that they get on this move. Wow.
Error there in the side-by-side spin. Sean had difficulty hitting the initial camel position, and the spin has never recovered and suffered throughout it.
That's very unusual to make a mistake on the spin. Usually it's on the side-by-side jump. I wonder if perhaps he just lost his concentration a little bit there.
Fortunately for them, the miss in the side-by-side spin can only be penalized about 0.2 for a deduction. So if they were to make a mistake, at least it was in an area where they can't be deducted too severely.
But the other thing that does put them at a disadvantage is the fact that they only perform side-by-side double X's. Here's a look at that humongous double twist. Great height, a little bit of a lean, but very solid.
And here's a look at their lift. A hip axle lift into a one-hand tabletop with a twist off the top to land. A little bit better extension on her landing free leg would have been nice, but for an initial performance at a World Championship, it's very nice.
That's Coach Carrie Leach from the Preston Figure Skating Club. Jodeyne's 18 years of age from Stratford, Sean 20 from Oakville.
Well, it's too bad that they did have that small mistake because, as you mentioned, Barb, of the double Lutz in this program started with a lower base mark. The judges can't evaluate this program as though they were evaluating a team that did say side-by-side double axles, so that is going to hurt them somewhat.
Remember your first skate at Worlds?
I certainly do. I think I missed the jump, which is usually, as you mentioned, Barb, the thing most skaters mess up at their first world competition.
Yeah,
There's a real mix of emotions at your first Worlds. You're excited, you're scared, you're just happy to be there more than anything.
And they may be happy with these marks, the technical marks, up to a 5.1 from the Swiss judge. Canadian judge Francis DeFoe at 4.8. There's a 4.9. And the low marks 4.2 from the United States.
Kerry Leach just asked them how they both felt out there, and they both felt, he responded by saying they both felt really good out there.
And here are the artistic marks, and they're much higher, 5.2 from the Swiss judge. And of the 5 pairs that have skated so far, they have first place ordinals from all 9 judges. So all in all, despite the problem with the spin, pretty good start for Jodeyne Higgins and Sean Rice, the young Canadians.
Hello, world.
Partnership that has delivered immediate international results this year. Mandy Wötzel, 19 years of age, and Ingo Steuer, 26 from Germany. They were the Skate Canada champions, the Nations Cup winners, and also won an event in Lillehammer, Norway, the German national champions as well.
Well, if Eltsova Bushkov were surprised at winning the European Championship, this team, I think, was equally surprised, coming second right behind them. Opening twist, good control throughout. He knew exactly where she was, caught her on the hips, and set her down beautifully.
Next element is the side-by-side double axel.
Successfully done, a little tight on those landings, but they both pushed them through.
Now watch this combination spin. Look at the speed that they pick up. Very interesting and original.
Here they're executing the spiral sequence, which is one of the 8 required elements of the pair's technical program.
It requires that one of the skaters must at all times be in a spiral position. Here's their lift. An interesting reverse overhead. We've never seen that lift before. Got a little off there on the unison on the spin. Back on now.
Well, like Higgins and Rice, they surprisingly had difficulty with the side-by-side spin. They nailed the double axels early in the program, but that side-by-side spin was on, off again as they exited it.
But clearly a team that we are going to see a lot of in the future. They have a great look, good unison. Here's a look at their double twist. Nice tight position in the air, good height, and a nice landing.
Mandy skated for a number of years with Axel Rauschenbach, last year in the Olympics included.
Here's their lift. And if I had something to complain about it, it was the landing of it. It didn't flow out as well as I thought the lift should be flowing in the technical program.
Well, it looked as though she hit his shoulder on the way down, which stopped her flow a little bit.
There's their coach, Monica Scheib. And again, this is a new team this year. He was a former world junior champion.
Well, it shows you what happens when you match up with the right pair partner, because we've seen both of these teams, both of these skaters with different partners and never really noticed them, but wow.
Well, wow for the marks, too. Best we've seen so far, up to 5-6 from both the American judge and the German judge. They were telling us that they were hoping for a medal, but acknowledged that there's 5 pairs here that really feel the same way, so it's going to be very close, but definitely Wötzel and Steuer off to a good start here. And now the artistic marks, and they are even better. There's a 5-7 from the U.S. judge, and they have 9 first-place marks, the first of the medal contenders, Mandy Wötzel and Ingo Steuer. And we'll be back.
Andrei Bushkov, Russia.
We are back in Prague, and here are the European champions. Marina Eltsova, Andrei Bushkov, 25 of the last 27 World Pairs champions have hailed from Russia, and they hope to keep that dominance alive.
Well, if there's been a team that's been on all week, it's been this team. They've showed a confidence as though they've been to several World Championships, and this is their first.
That was a well-executed twist, Barb, but I didn't think it had the split on it that we're looking for, and that is a required aspect of that element. It's supposed to be a split double twist.
Here are the double axles. And he really held on to that at the end.
Whoa! Whoa, that's called strength. That's like taking 100 and some odd pounds and pressing it straight from the ground. Their timing was non-existent, and he had to really grunt to get it up.
Well, that's very unusual to make a mistake in the lift. It looked as though she almost missed the step going in. Their timing was just way off.
Well, as they finish this program with a very nice forward inside death spiral, Barb, I can't help but reflect on the irony of one of our world championships when we missed the lift in the technical program, and Irina Rodmina, the great Russian pair skater, came up to us and said, "Good pair, but must do lift."
Yeah, I remember that well.
The Russian champions, Marina Eltsova, 23 years of age, Andrei Bushkov, 24 from St. Petersburg.
Well, Barb, according to the deduction sheet, it specifies lady collapses on partner, and as we watch this lift, let's see if they can qualify it as that, because, well, it doesn't exactly collapse, but it really takes a lot of effort to get up, and it's certainly not the quality of lift that they were looking for.
Well, it's really unclear what happened there on the takeoff. It looked like the timing was just, like you said, non-existent.
Here we see their split double twist, which I felt didn't have as much split as they were looking for, and I felt that after that mistake on the lift, that the spark disappeared from this performance.
Yeah.
And you can tell Marina's not happy. She kind of skated away and shook her head.
Well, I think coming in here, being European champions, they really expected to be a gold medal threat here. And with a technical program such as this, they may not be in a position to be a gold medal threat.
Remember, Barb, we've watched them so often this week, and they have been bang on throughout practice.
Well, we thought that this would be the main competition for Lloyd and Isabelle.
That's Igor Moskvin, their coach. His wife, Tamara Moskvina, was the coach of Mishkutenok and Dmitriev, winners of the last 2 World Championships. Tamara says Igor's far more stern, a real disciplinarian coach. Tamara actually worked with Marina Eltsova prior to the Europeans, helped her out with her jumping ability. And the technical marks down to a 5.1 from the Polish judge. There are 5 2s on the board as well, up to 5.6 from the judges on the outside of the panel, Australia and Ukraine. I don't know if body language tells the story, but she seems to be taking the blame for the mistake that happened out there.
Well, as with so many elements in pair skating, timing is a combination of the 2 skaters working together. I don't think you can ever blame one or the other.
Not waiting around for the artistic marks, 3 first-place ordinals, 6 seconds. And when we return, we'll have the Canadians, Michelle Menzies and Jean-Michel Bombardier, coming up from the '93 World Championships. Here's the silver medalist from the National Championships in Hamilton, and again, the red and white of Canada flying proudly here in Prague. Michelle Menzies, Jean-Michel Bombardier, as they get set for their technical program.
Well, as I said earlier with Wötzel and Steuer, a new partner can make all the difference, and this team has just come onto the scene very strongly. They have a great look, long lines, and here they're opening with the double twist.
Barb, this has all come together for them in the last 10 months.
Jean-Michel has been having difficulties, though, in the practices with the double axel. Going into it. No problem there. I wasn't quite sure whether or not Michelle had a 2-foot landing or not.
I was watching her, and I have to say that she did touch down, but as always, a situation like that is strictly up to the angle in which the judge saw it as to whether or not they could detect it. Spin, flying camel into a back sit, change your foot into the forward spin. A little bit of a unison problem there, but not as major as we've seen.
Here's the final move, the back inside death spiral. Probably one of the nicest death spirals we'll see here in this competition. What a great performance.
Canadian fans sure like it. Michelle Menzies, Jean-Michel Bombardier. And they sure like it too. He was saying they accomplished their goals in Hamilton, but didn't skate as well as they wanted to.
Here's the double axel. It does look from this angle like she did touch down, but it depends on where the judges were sitting along the panel.
Here we look at their opening element, the split double twist. Nice split, good height. See the way he had time to drop his hands and get them back up again to catch her. That really demonstrates how much height they have on that particular element.
Eric Gillies, Jose Picard, Ushi Kessler, they're all there to welcome Michelle and Jean-Michel off the ice after a terrific technical program. Good job.
Well, he's really been struggling all week with that double axel, so it was really nice to see him get a good one in there tonight.
Well, what I've been impressed with was the fact that both Wright and Higgins and Jean-Michel and Michelle have both skated very relaxed. I recall watching them at the Canadian Championships, and they were really uptight. But out here tonight, both of these teams so far have skated in a very relaxed fashion.
Yeah, finally.
What do you mean, finally?
Pretty nice assessment from the two skaters, and here come the technical marks. 5.0 from Russia, and interestingly enough from Canada, up to a 5.6 from the Swiss judge.
Well, it looks as though perhaps some of those judges didn't detect the 2-foot landing on the double axel.
It's interesting, though, that the Russian and Canadian judge sitting side by side have each got 5.0s for technical merit, and I think they're in a position on that panel to maybe have seen that the best.
Now the artistic marks, as we check the ordinals, there are 3 first-place ordinals. There's the second and 4 thirds, and Menzies and Bombardier are third at the moment, but a strong technical program for them. Back with more from Prague after this. Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler are on warm-up for their technical program, but first, a personal look at the pair who have had to deal with adversity off the ice this year.
This year has really been hard with the death of Isabelle's father. We've grown so much closer together. She's sort of, I mean, she's leaning on me more. Not now, but when her father first passed away, she was leaning on me. You know, I'm the closest person there, so I'm feeling all the pressure. I'm feeling all the tension that she's feeling.
There's one thing my dad said, you know, before he passed away, about 2 months before he passed away. He said to somebody, as long as my daughter's going to be with Lloyd, I know he's going to take care of her, and I know she's always protected, and nobody's going to step on her, and, you know, if anything happens, he's always going to be there. And I had told that to Lloyd, and it just stayed like that. You know, my dad was still living and everything. And I think when my dad died, he remembered that. He never told me that he remembered what my dad said.
And this whole year, since I guess October, we've been closer than we've been in probably the last 2 years. And I don't know why. It's just maybe the new program, maybe the new style, maybe working more with Ushi. Definitely the death of Isabelle's father had something to do with it. And I think we stand behind each other a lot more than we used to, especially me being there for her and understanding what she needs rather than me just going out and, well, as long as Lloyd Eisler's happy, that's all right, that matters. And now it's more, as long as Lloyd Eisler and Isabelle Brasseur are happy, that's all that matters. And I think that's what's changed in our skating in the last year.
There was plenty of emotional baggage from their disappointing '92 season, but nothing quite like the loss of Isabelle's father, which has put their skating into a different perspective. And now here they are at the '93 World Championships. One of their main rivals has struggled. Let's see if they can take advantage of it. Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler.
Well, what a difference we're seeing in this team this year. They've really developed an element of sophistication to their skating, and wow, what a difference. As always, though, the double axel is going to make or break this program. It is the next element.
Now this next element is bar none the best twist we will see in this competition. Watch this fly. most difficult twist, but that which you just saw was perhaps the most difficult lift. That was a cartwheel on both arms. First one arm right, then one arm left. Very difficult indeed.
And as you can see, every Canadian in the house on their feet for Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler.
They looked like they were just having so much fun out there. They've really come here with a much more reserved, confident, much more class. Great double axel.
That's an element which has always been a problem for her, and it's nice to see her get the confidence to master it. And here's the lift. It's a one-arm cartwheel. He's got her with his right arm, transfers it over, onto the left, again, one arm, and then down. Great lift.
There they are with the coaching triumvirate. Jose Picard, Eric Gillies, Ushi Kessler. Good?
No, it was dead on.
Interesting that he should say that it felt a little slow, because I've talked to some judges about this program, and if they had a complaint about it, it was that maybe it was a bit slow.
Well, they like those marks, though, the technical marks, 5 7s and 5 8s.
Salut, Steve.
And that's a refreshing scene after suffering through them with them a little bit last year in the competitions of '92. Now the important second set of marks. 5-9 on the board there. 5-6 from the Swiss, but it's unanimous among the 9 judges right now. Brasseur and Eisler are in first place, and it looks like they will be skating for the gold medal tomorrow night.
I don't care where we end up. That was good. Yeah, that's what counts.
Lloyd said doesn't care about the marks. He just liked the way they skated, and why not? We'll be back with more from the '93 World Figure Skating Championships in Prague after this. Well, let us not forget another Russian threat. Eltsova and Bushkov did not skate well, but here is a couple that have skated so well for the past few years, Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov. And they won the technical program at the Europeans in Helsinki.
Yes, this technical program really went over well at the Europeans. It's crisp, it's refined, it's very sharp. And if anybody is a threat to Lloyd and Isabelle at this point, I would think it would be this team.
Marvin, Chris, I hope you didn't think I checked out during that performance, but I was busy concentrating on it because I was going through each element one by one to see whether Isabelle and Lloyd's was better or whether this team's was better. I thought the footwork and the spiral sequence were a wash. I thought Isabelle and Lloyd had a better twist than the one we're seeing here in this replay. I thought Isabelle and Lloyd had a better lift. And I think the double axles were a wash as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how the judges evaluate it.
Here's the double axle. She barely gets off the ice on that. No wonder she has difficulties with it. And look at the space in between them.
And also a unison problem. The timing of the two jumps was definitely not in sync.
Well, this will be...
Oh, I hope she's all right. Trying to climb up those steps, she took a little bit of a fall.
This will be very interesting to see what the judges do here. I think, if anything, it's going to be a decision between the two styles almost.
Yeah, both programs were very well executed, very well performed. The performance level was about on par. This is when a judge's job is a challenge.
That's Coach Ludmila Velikova. These two really skated in the shadow of Mishkutenok and Dmitriev, Bechki, Petrov for the last couple of years. In fact, the last 2 years, they have been 5th at the World Championships. Noted for stronger technical skates than their long programs. Here are the technical marks now. And this will be interesting. A 5.5 from the French judge up to 5.8 from Australia. So it's going to be close. If you're in the top 3 going into the free skate, you can win gold by winning the free skate. Now the important artistic marks.
Well, maybe it's not as close as we thought it might have been, but it is a 6-3 split.
There they are. They have a first-place mark from Switzerland, Germany, and Ukraine, but then 6 second-place marks. So Brasseur and Eisler remain in first place. Shishkova and Naumov have moved into second ahead of Wötzel Steuer.
All right, Chris, outstanding performance. It comes after a tough year. The death of your father, the Olympic performances, the World Championships. How did you pull this all together?
First of all, we decided to keep going skating after last year because we wanted to for ourselves and because we wanted just to do it because we love to skate. And I think a lot of what happened last year and this year, the death of my dad and everything, makes you realize why do you do things in life. And we just tried to do it because we enjoy it and because we have the chance to do it before we pass away one day. So we're just trying to take the chance.
One thing for this lady to relax. I want to know about the big guy that sometimes is tightly wound. You look more relaxed before tonight's competition than I've seen you in 4 or 5 years.
I think it's a credit to my coaches this year that we've really worked on bringing my sort of adrenaline level and the amount that I get excited and push down to a level that Isabelle doesn't feel like I'm overbearing and I'm pushing her and I'm sort of just a big cloud over top of her. And so this year we've worked really hard on staying level and a lot lower than last year. And it was difficult at first, but I think it's paying off, and it feels different, but it also feels very good.
You nailed the jumps, you nailed the doubles. As you go into tomorrow night in the medal program, is this where you want to be?
Oh, exactly. I mean, whether we end up first tonight or whether we end up third tonight, it doesn't matter. We skated a great performance. We're set for tomorrow night. We're going to go out and just do it again.
You did a great job. Congratulations. Tough circumstances this year. Brasseur and Eisler come through in fine style here. Chris, more skating to come.
Thank you, Brian. We'll be back with more of the pair's technical programs when we return. Oh, we mentioned some of the new teams here, like Michelle Menzies and Jean-Michel Bombardier, Mandy Wötzel and Ingo Steuer. This is another new combination. Jenni Meno and Todd Sand, the silver medalists from the United States last year. Meno skated with Scott Wendland, Todd Sand with Natasha Kachicki. And you'll remember, Todd won a bronze medal at the '91 World Championships in Munich with Kachicki.
They're going to open with a very difficult side-by-side double axel. Nicely done. We should maybe point out at this point that that is the most difficult jump the pairs can attempt in the technical program. Unlike the singles who can do triples in their technical, the pairs can only do a double. So that means the double axel is the most difficult jump allowed.
That's a great goes.
It's not over yet.
You mentioned, Chris, that each of these skaters performed with different partners last year, but I must say, watching these two together, it looks as though they've been together for years. They're very well matched.
A lot of American fans are on hand. They like the ice surface. They were winners of Prague skate here earlier this year, and factor Jenni Meno and Todd Sand into the equation now.
And there we see those wonderful side-by-side double axles, which they opened with and got them off to a very good start in this technical program.
They just seem completely relaxed out there. Here's a look at that great combination spin. Nice position. Look at that. And it just kept going and going. It was great.
Will it ever end?
Well, they have to be very pleased with that.
And I'm sure so is Coach John Nix. They train with John in Costa Mesa, California. He's the former coach of JoJo Starbuck, Ken Shelley, Ty Babylonia, and Randy Gardner.
We've often heard people say what a difference a day makes, but what a difference a partner makes.
They're a great match, even down to the color of their hair.
Landing of the lift.
And they're also romantically linked. Think that makes a difference?
Yeah.
Do you want to answer that?
I thought,
well, it does for some pairs, I guess.
Spiral sequence, were you okay?
Well, he held that one thing long, so he didn't get to my leg as quick. But it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's certainly taking some time for the judges panel to bring the marks up. I see one of the, either the referee or the assistant referee behind the panel, but here they are, I think.
Well, we got a mixed bunch there, haven't we?
Is it ever a mixed bunch? 5-1 from Francis Defoe of Canada, up to 5.7 from the American job. There's also 5-6s as John Nix assesses.
Canada.
Oh, John noticed that 5.1.
We must remember it's all relative to what the ordinal works out to, not necessarily what the mark is.
And we'll have to wait for the artistic marks for that. Artistic marks now, and they have a second-place ordinal from the French judge in 5.6. They also have 3/3. John Nix is happy, and Meno and Sand are in 4th place, and they bumped Eltsova Bushkov down to 5th, and that could be significant in the free skate.
Yes.
Well, here are the hometown favorites, Paul. You mentioned these two in the opening. Radka Kovaříková René Novotný. Based on last year's World Championship results, they are the #1 ranked team, the silver medalists in Oakland. It has not been a good year for them competitively. We talked to her the other day, Paul. She didn't seem confident, but they certainly are in a position to change that here.
Well, I asked her how their training had gone between when we saw them at the European Championships and this week, as they had struggled at the Europeans, missed the podium, and she indicated that it had only gone so-so. There certainly wasn't a confidence factor there.
Well, we'll see after this next element if there's a confidence factor. This is the side-by-side double axel.
They both had difficulty with it. She fell out of hers. He puts a hand down. And as I checked the deduction list, it looks like they're going to be looking at least a 0.3 deduction.
That's a shame, because with the clean performances that we have seen here, this should put them out of contention for the gold medal. He touched down in the middle of that spin.
Well, in addition to the coaching staff of this team has been the former Soviet great Irina Rodnina, who in her own right was perhaps one of the greatest competitors I have ever seen. Perhaps she came on board to help this team with their competitive attitude, but unfortunately it wasn't reflective of their performance here this evening.
Said earlier, they've both been suffering with colds all week long and just haven't shown the confidence that the currently ranked #1 pair in the world should have.
Radka Kovaříková and René Novotný of the Czech Republic.
Well, I think it's the sign of a great champion who can come out in front of their hometown audience and really put down a winning performance. That's perhaps one of the greatest challenges to ever face an athlete. Here we see those side-by-side double axles. She's leaning outside hers. He has to break at the waist, touches down. And as I mentioned earlier, at least a 0.3 deduction. Here's that pair spin you were commenting on, Barb.
We didn't get to see it.
Well, you talk about skating in front of the hometown. We saw last year the French really buckled under the pressure at the Olympic Games, and yet Susanna Rakamo and Petri Koko in Finland at the European Championships in January seem to thrive on it.
Well, there's many that do. I mean, Kristi Yamaguchi in Oakland last year was another example of someone who rose to the occasion and used that hometown advantage to their advantage.
There was Irina Rodnina. And now they'll wait to see what the damage is and whether or not they will be within reach of a medal. They were 8th and 90, 6th and 91 at the Worlds before their breakthrough last year in Oakland.
Well, this girl is really such a sweetheart, and you sometimes wonder if you can be too nice in any sport, because you've got to have a degree of killer instinct to go out there and really lay it down. And she just doesn't seem to have that on a consistent basis.
Hoping that they could become the first Czech winners since 1957 of the pairs event, and the crowd rhythmically clapping as they await the marks. I'm not sure they'll be clapping when they see them. There they are, 5.0 up to 5.5 for the technical marks, and now the whistles start as the crowd shows its disapproval, but those marks shouldn't be a surprise.
No, definitely not. And I think we are going to see a considerable increase in the second set of marks.
And now the artistic marks come up, and Barb, you're right on. They do come up. However, their best ordinals are two fourth-place ordinals from Switzerland and France, all the way to an eighth-place ordinal. Overall, Kovaříková Novotný, who we thought might be gold medal contenders, are all the way down to sixth place. We'll be back with more from the 93 World Figure Skating Championships in Prague after this. After the technical program, followed by Shishkova Naumov of Russia and Wötzel Steuer of Germany. The other Canadians, Menzies and Bombardier, in 8th place, while Higgins and Rice are in 13th. We'll be back with more of the 1993 World Figure Skating Championships from Prague in the Czech Republic after this. Jodeyne Higgins and Sean Rice getting set to hit the ice, but first, here's Gene Senft with a judge's perspective on the lifts you'll see in tonight's free program.
Chris, in a well-balanced pairs free program, the couples must incorporate at least 3 different lifts, up to a maximum of 5. While these may include the twist lifts that we've already seen in the technical program, we want to now focus on some of the other lift options that are possible. One of the simpler lifts coming up is a platter lift. It is recognizable by the woman's horizontal position in the air and the hand-to-waist hold. The star lift, a hand-to-hip hold, with one arm released, is more difficult. Here it is again. This time, both hands will be released, adding to the difficulty factor, along with a flip dismount. A lasso lift is even more difficult because most of the lifting thrust is done by one arm. Look at the woman's position in the air, how soon her arm is released, the ease of the man's rotation, and the control on the dismount. The most difficult lift you'll see here today is this back overhead of Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler, where neither partner can see each other. Looking at it in slow motion, note the difficult entry of the back overhead where they can't see each other, the variation to a one-arm overhead, to a no-arm overhead, with a full flip dismount. Truly remarkable. Our sport is evolving so rapidly, it's difficult to keep up with all the developments, especially in pair lifts. However, in general, look for balance and control within the lift, the women's position in the air, and the speed and power as the lift travels across the ice.
Thank you, Gene. Here are the Canadian bronze medalists, Jodeyne Higgins and Sean Rice, and we'll watch for their special lift, the no-hand star. And Barb, you can point that out. They are in 13th place and hoping to move up with this long program.
Well, Barb, we had an opportunity to work with this couple at the national camp back in July, and at that time, I personally would never have guessed that this team would have skated their way onto the world team. Yet obviously between then and now, they put in a lot of hard work, and I think they're reaping the rewards of that work here in Prague.
Well, I don't really think they believed they would be on the world team. But Sean said to me after Canadian, he said, "My dreams are coming true." And look at the size of that triple twist. Here comes the throw triple throw double axel.
Which you don't see too many of anymore. That's a lasso lift, one of the more difficult pair lifts. And they carried it off nicely with good speed and it really covered a lot of ice. What's impressed me most about this team through the entire week is the way they've managed to keep their composure, haven't let themselves get rattled by the fact that they're at their first World Championships, and have really done an admirable job for themselves.
Jodeyne and Sean.
Especially in light of the fact that that is not the way that program is supposed to end, and yet he hung on to make it look just fine.
That was a perfect performance right up until the very end. I'm sure they'll be very pleased with that.
Here we see the first throw, the throw triple sow cow. Nice clean landing on her behalf.
He had a couple of minor trips throughout the program, but Jodeyne just looks so cool throughout the entire program.
And we'll be back with the marks for Jodeyne, Higgins, and Sean Rice when we return to the Sport Hall in Prague. Back to the Sport Hall in Prague as we get the technical marks for Jodeyne, Higgins, and Sean Rice, and they're all in the fives. How are you doing? Up to the 5-3 from the Canadian judge, Francis Defoe.
Well, this team skated the pair aspects of this performance very well. What they need to go home and work on now is their side-by-side jumps. They've got a bit of a unison problem with those, and they've got to get up to a more difficult level because they're only doing up to double Lutzes at this point in time.
Yes. And the artistic marks go up from there. They have 6 first-place ordinals, 3 second-place ordinals, and they want to make sure they say hi to everybody at the Preston Figure Skating Club. Jodeyne's mom is a seamstress working on all the costumes for the Preston Skating Carnival coming up, and that is a big job. Kerry Leach with them, and he's pretty pleased with their World Championship debut. Jodeyne, Higgins, and Sean Rice of Canada. Here are the Canadian silver medalists, Michelle Menzies and Jean-Michel Bombardier, and the standard Canadian cheering section comes alive. They're in 8th place after the technical program, and a lot of people in the Canadian camp felt they kind of got lost in the shuffle last night. Maybe their skate was better than it really was rewarded by the judges.
Well, it's amazing to me that this team has only been together for 9 months. I think we tend to forget that. But what this partnership has done is brought the best out in each of the skaters. They're opening here with a triple twist. Throw double axel.
Salchow, but from the angle we saw it at, I question whether or not she got a clean landing in. I suspect that perhaps she did have a 2-foot landing, but a nice throw nonetheless.
What I love about this team is everything is so well finished. They really take their time. They never rush through any of the elements. Jean-Michel's been having difficulties with this double axel in practice, but he pulled it off for the second night in a row. Good for him.
Performance, the thing that I've enjoyed the most is that this team skates together as a team. We've sometimes watched pair teams perform and you sense that there's some friction and they're not skating together, but this has been a really cohesive unit out here tonight. They've had a great skate, and to go along with the performance that they had last night, this for them as well has been an excellent World's debut.
Oh, look at the emotion on Jose Chouinard's face, and the Canadian team ecstatic. Jean-Michel Bombardier, Michelle Menzies, and tears of emotion because they've just delivered a great skate here. Well, he said they were happy with their placement in Hamilton, but not happy with the way they skated. Said they had to learn how to compete. I guess that's part of the learning process.
They had complete concentration throughout the entire program. Here's a look at the triple twist. Gets good height, a little tight on the landing, but they push it through. I think what I was most impressed with, oh, here's a look at the triple sow. It does look like she does touch there, but I don't think that's, yeah, it's very minor. I was really impressed with the choreography and the way that they just took their time all the way through it, step by step throughout the program. I think that has something to do with their training. They train with Jose Picard and Eric Gillies, and their choreographer is Ushi Kessler, who also did Lloyd and Isabelle's program.
Well, you mentioned actually earlier that the short period of time that this team has been together, and there's something happening here. Something has clicked between these two skaters, and it's evident after just the short period of time that they've been together, and it's that special ingredient that makes a really good pair team.
5 3s, 4s, and 5s. Technical marks. They both were disappointed a year ago, missing the Olympics. She with Kevin Wheeler and he with Stacy Ball. He was 8th in Munich with Stacy Ball, and accepting congratulations here. Thank you. Presentation marks. And they have second place ordinals right across the board behind Kovaříková and Novotný. We'll be back with more from the 93 Worlds in Prague. Well, that puts the heat on the next 3 pairs, and the next to skate, Mandy Wötzel and Ingo Steuer in 3rd place, the German champions and Skate Canada champions. Now, all of a sudden, rivals of Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler.
Well, if Meno and Sand have come onto the scene in a big way, so has this team, with a 2nd place finish in their first European Championships.
Very strong with an excellent split triple twist.
Now watch for the side-by-side triple toe loops here.
right up into another jump, another double toe. The control and the landing of that throw double axel was perhaps the best we've seen of any of the girls with any of the throws we've seen out here tonight. As they say in gymnastics, she just stuck that landing. Some nights, Bart, when you skate and things can't go wrong, they're having one of those nights. They're skating well, and even when things get a little bit out of shape, they've been pulling out okay for them. Struggled with the last two lifts. They've been struggling to get speed and flow out there. They just had difficulties with the landing and that jump.
It seems to be a little bit of a conditioning problem here. They just can't pull it through all the way to the end. But nonetheless, an extremely strong program here. This should be worth a medal.
Well, it's going to be tough because when you stack this up against Jenni Meno and Todd Sand, I thought they brought their program home a lot stronger than this. What I like is the fact that we've got so many new teams here in this competition that have looked so good in their very first Worlds.
We may see more different combinations next year after Meno Sand and Wötzel Steuer.
Here's that landing that she stuck.
Look at the control as she hangs on. Just beautiful to see that much control in a throw that's that big. Here's the side-by-side double axel that got a little out of shape on her behalf, and yet she manages to hang on and push it through.
Her best finish at the Worlds with Axel Rauschenbach was 7th. His best with another partner was 8th. And here they are, at least knocking on the door of medal territory.
Well, Coming into this, they were sitting third, so it's now up to the judges to decide whether or not they felt that the Americans outperformed this, or if these Germans, they're the team.
They haven't made the job any easier for Isabelle and Lloyd or for Shishkova and Naumov. And here are the first set of marks, and look at these 5, 7s, and 8s, and those technical marks are higher than Meno and Sand of the United States. So it looks like this could be a medal-winning performance pending the artistic marks, and here they come. 5, 6s, 7s, and 8s. They have 6 first-place marks, 2 seconds, and the Australians have them ranked 4th, but the leaders with 2 pairs to go. Mandy Wötzel Ingo Steuer, the Ski Canada champions from Germany.
It's much more relaxing. I like the other Brasseur Eisler we used to be really powerful. Actually, we didn't fully get rid of it. We kept a little of power in it. But I find this program this year much more relaxing, you know, much more down in our knees. And even if something goes wrong, I don't know, the rest of the program stays so calm that then it's okay, it keeps on going.
Well, I guess at first it was, for me it was no. I didn't want to do it. I heard the music, Jodeyne, she brought the music in, and I thought, oh, I don't want to do that. I mean, the music is so popular, and so many people have skated on it, and it was always, to me, sort of, not an artsy program, but more or less someone that wasn't exciting to watch. You know, it was like, oh, well, that was good, you know, but it didn't move me. And so it took a lot of convincing.
And because I knew him for so long, often I saw the soft side of him. And that's probably why I'm still skating with him today after 6 years, because people don't see that he always takes care of me no matter what. And yes, sometimes, you know, he's strong, but sometimes he's really soft and he's really careful for the other person. And I think that's what Ushi, Kessler, and I tried to do this year with the slow music and the more relaxed music, to just get this side out of him. It was really hard to do. That's why he had a problem with the music, because he didn't want to let anybody see this side.
And once I realized that we could still do all our big tricks and still have them come across better than anyone else's, I was sort of leaning towards saying, well, maybe Paganini will work. Obviously, it has worked. It's working very well for us, and we think it's probably our best program that we've ever done.
Here we go. The second last pair to skate. The leaders after the technical program, 4.5 minutes away from a lifelong dream of winning gold at a world championship. Twice silver, once bronze. Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler.
Well, this is a very new look for Lloyd and Isabelle. This program has been designed to give them confidence. Isabelle said, when I skate to this music, there's nothing I can't do. I think we should just sit back and watch this one.
the old sport hall. There's Mr. Eisler. The old sport hall at Prague hasn't heard Canadian cheers like this since 1962.
Lloyd just said to Isabelle, he kissed her hand, and he said, that's for your dad.
Oh, and he's a proud dad tonight.
This was a flawless performance. Here we see the unbelievably huge lateral twist. It's a double. I don't think there's any other team in this competition that's doing it.
Wow, I don't think...
And there's no better feeling. There's no better feeling than coming off the ice knowing you've skated as well as you can, and it's just the icing on the cake, knowing that there's an excellent chance that this is going to be a world championship performance.
I don't think commentators are supposed to cry, Paul, but I feel a lot of emotions flooding back here.
Well, a lot of tears down there, too. 5, 8s, and 9s for technical. Eric Gillies, Josie Picard, who did not fulfill all her goals as a skater, now as a coach, is on the verge. And now the artistic marks. First place marks right across the board. I think we would have seen 6s, but there's still one pair to skate. Get ready for the goal line. And Isabelle back with the final skaters from Prague after this.
Hi, Mom. Love you.
Prague for the final skaters, somewhat fittingly from Russia. Evgenia Shishkova, Vadim Naumov. Surely another Russian team won't break their hearts now, but in second place, and they can win gold if they win the free skate here.
gold medal's been awarded, these skaters have to come out here and take it away.
It's been awarded now.
I think it's about a done deal. Split triple twist, but not nearly in the league of Isabelle and Lloyd's. I saw it the same way as you. Aside from the difficulty they had, the miss on the side-by-side triple toe early in the program, it was okay, but I felt like they were not nearly as together as Isabelle and Lloyd were. Isabelle and Lloyd were so tight out there, and this team never seemed to have that. Here we see the mistake off the top on the side-by-side triple toe. He lands at one foot, but has to tuck the extra turn on the end. And they did do some excellent material. This lift, great air position, unusual dismount. But it just didn't have that cohesiveness that Isabelle and Lloyd had.
It didn't draw me in. There wasn't any emotion involved.
We'll find out if that skate's good enough for a medal for Shishkova Naumov when we return to the 93 Worlds in Prague. Evgenia Shishkova, Vadim Naumov, and their coach Ludmila Velikova. A tough act to follow, though, too. 5-4 from the Australian judge. The first technical mark, the rest 5-7s, and a 5-8 from the Russian judge. So they'll be anxious to await the second set here. Will it be enough for Russia to at least hang on to one medal? As you mentioned, Paul, they haven't been shut out since 1960. That's a remarkable record for them. And now the artistic marks, here they come. They've got a 5-9 from the Ukrainian judge, 5-5 from Australia, 4 second-place ordinals, 2 third-place ordinals, and they will be third behind Wötzel Steuer and the new world champions, Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler, who are standing by with Brian Williams.
Canada's first Paris champions since 1984, Lloyd and Isabelle, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Lloyd.
Thank you very much.
We have talked under some difficult circumstances. I think in Albertville, Lloyd, I thought you were going to smash the desk if I asked you one more question. How did you summon the courage after what you've been through to perform like you did tonight?
I think we just learned to know why we were skating, and we're just skating for fun. And I mean, there's a lot of things this year that happened that made us realize that we're lucky to be here and that we're lucky to skate, so we're just trying to enjoy it.
You told me in Sports Weekend Studios a couple of months ago it was going to be a new Lloyd Eisler, more relaxed. How did you keep that up tonight?
I have to thank Isabelle. I think that she's really helped me this year, being a lot more low-key and helping me realize that skating isn't everything. There's other things in life. And so it made it easier to compete and easier to skate, knowing that I can go out of the rink and I'm still going to be the same person. And it took the things that happened this year maybe to think about that, but I'm very grateful and it paid off.
Well, folks, history does repeat itself. It was 21 years ago in this building that Otto and Marie Jelinek won gold. Let me bring the champions from 62 in to congratulate the champions from 93. Otto and Maria?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Great. I'll tell you, it was emotional 31 years ago, and it was just as emotional this time. I knew Prague was good for a Canadian team 31 years ago, and I knew it. I felt it in my heart that the Prague was going to be good for our Canadian team this time. You made all of Canada very proud, and we thank you for it.
I hope that you weren't as nervous as I was, because I was very nervous. I don't think so. You didn't look it. You were very, very confident.
Listen, we got to go to the medal ceremonies. The most nervous person is Lloyd Eisler Sr. from Seaforth, Ontario. He's as big as his son standing on skates. What about the good luck charm you've had this week?
I put the gold band on before they skated. Yeah, and there's 2 people that aren't here tonight that I think have brought both these kids a long way, and that's Isabelle's dad and her mom. And I'd like to congratulate them.
All right, thank you very much. Lloyd Eisler Sr., Otto and Marie Jelinek, and the new Canadian world champions, Isabelle Brasseur, Lloyd Eisler, will be talking with you tomorrow night during our coverage. We'll have more of the medal ceremonies, and the Canadian national anthem are coming up in just a minute. I know you want to get set. Anything you want to say to Canadian fans?
Thank you for supporting us through all these years.
Thank you.
All right, ceremony's coming up.
Third Eisler win gold. Wötzel Steuer of Germany take the silver. Shishkova Naumov of Russia are the bronze medalists. A great night for the entire Canadian team. Menzies Bombardier move up a spot to 7th, and Higgins and Rice, the young Canadians, move up 3 into the top 10.
And Chris, here's the moment they've been waiting for. 2 silvers and a bronze at the World Championships, a bronze at the Olympics. And it's interesting, Chris, Lloyd won a bronze, albeit with a different partner, Katarina Matusik, at the 85 Worlds in Tokyo in 93. It is gold for Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler.
Receiving their medals from a former world dance champion, Lawrence Demi, representing the ISU. Great Canadian story. Lloyd's career appeared to be winding down in 87 when he met a young Isabelle Brasseur, who spoke very little English. Lloyd spoke very little French, but now they're high-five for a gold medal here at the Worlds. It's a night of first world medal for Mandy Wötzel and Ingo Steuer, who started their successful year with a gold medal at Skate Canada. And it's the first world medal for the Russian team of Vadim Naumov, and there's Evgenia Shishkova. But the night belongs to Brasseur and Eisler, who join the likes of Defoe and Bowden, Wagner and Paul, the Jeleniks, and of course, our partners here, Brian, Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini.
You know, I was doing just fine until the national anthem started, and I just started to lose it. All the emotions just started flooding back, and you know, I've been skating with Lloyd since I was 8 years old in Lake Placid. He's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. Oh, I'm going to cry now.
Well, I have to say that there's no doubt that you got to believe that history repeats itself, and to have Canada win another pairs title in this very same rink that the Jelenics won in 1962, I can't think of a more fitting skate.
For Isabelle, she's just put so much into this, and with the death of her father, this is just such a great and fitting end for...
It's a moment I'm sure we'll never forget.
Yeah.
Final night for all Canadians here in Prague. The scene could be repeated tomorrow. Kurt Browning tries for a 4th World Championship. On an occasion like this, we say goodnight from the Czech Republic with some very special pictures. Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler, bronze in Oakland, bronze in Albertville. Repeating history what the Jelenics did here in 1962 with a great performance to win gold. I'm wondering, you look so fresh. Did you get any sleep last night?
A little bit. We got to bed early this morning, so we missed half the day today.
How many interviews have you done back home?
Maybe 2 dozen. Enough to keep me busy for the day, that's for sure.
All right, we're going to keep you busy for the next 4 or 5 minutes. What we want to do, and hold the videotape for just a minute, as a treat for the viewers back home. When you came to Sports Weekend a couple of months ago, you told me how you changed, you were more relaxed, the program was more artistic. I'm going to be quiet, let you people do the talking. Let's roll your program from last night and you take us through it, all right? Okay, here we go from last night.
Starting from the beginning of the program here, the program starts out slow, which is right away a change from last year's program of going 900 miles an hour, right from the opening note. Coming up is a very sort of innovative spin where it's a camel spin that goes right into a pair spin.
I think it's really good that the program this year is starting slow, because I was a bit nervous when I came on the ice, but just with the music, you know, it just got in my knees, and I just tried to follow the music, and we went really softly, and we got into the program really quickly.
Coming up now is what everyone calls is our infamous jump, I guess, our side-by-side double axels, and we nailed them really quite nicely here.
From there, we kind of knew that the program was going to be a good one. For sure, we had still the 2 throws to go and like a lot of jumps and lifts, but when it starts really good like that, it starts really good.
Our program is a completely different style this year. We've worked on line and the total look of the pair. Our first throw, a throw triple sow. A scale of 1 to 10, that's usually about an 8. It wasn't perfect, but it also wasn't, you know, a big major mistake in the program. I think one of the big things about our program this year is it's such a well-packaged program that we like to skate clean, but if you don't skate perfect, then we still have what we consider a good program, and I think that gives us the marks that we've sort of been looking for in the past.
Now it's the beginning of the slow part, and there it's just kind of a relaxed part that we just can look at each other and smile at each other and try to encourage each other to get through the program, especially here.
Yeah, this is where we've made the most changes, the sort of good line, the softness, where both of us are a little bit more at ease with our own personalities, and really we're letting the other person sort of lead, especially in my case. Isabelle is sort of taking control of the program, and I'm just going along for the ride at this point.
That's the forward outside the sprawl that it hasn't been done in competition since the proto pop-ups. It has been a while.
I think one of the good things about our program is we still do all the very difficult tricks. We had a triple lateral twist at the beginning of the program. We're the only team in the world to do it. Now is a split triple twist. It's on different music, and the line, the going in and the coming out are much, much better.
Coming up is the triple toe, which we did really good, and from there we knew that it was going to be a good program, but still we still had to concentrate because we still had 2 more jumps to go and a few lifts, so we had to think about what we were doing.
At this point in the program, I was really biting hard on my lip just to keep the calmness that is what is important throughout our entire program, because I knew when Isabelle landed the throw triple toe that we were going to skate clean right to the end of the program, but to keep the sort of the attitude of the program and the feeling in the movements of the program was really difficult at this point for me, because I just wanted to start screaming and smiling, but that's not the program style.
Now the last part's starting, and when you know that you skated pretty good up to there, it's really easy to get through the last part.
Lift coming up is a reverse back overhead, which we're the only team in the world that does it right now. It was done by Donald Gilchrist back in the 60s, but it has been a long time. I think we didn't give up any of our technical skills in order to come up with the new style. What we did was just put the two together, both the athleticism and the artistry. This is our last jump combination, double flip into a step double toe. At this point, I knew we had a great chance at winning a gold medal. It wasn't, it definitely wasn't that it was in the bag or anything, but it, you know, I was really happy with the performance.
Keep going, Lloyd. Well, yeah, me too. After the jumps, it was really good, and we knew that we were proud of each other.
Lloyd Eisler Sr., your mother is here, Isabelle. Do you notice the Canadian fans, the flags, the cheering when you're out there?
Yes, we did, and it was really hard, especially at the end of the solo, to concentrate because everybody was there and cheering so loud for us, and all the skaters and the coaches, and we could see them jump already before we finished our skating. But we had to keep going and just concentrate. But it's great that they're here.
All right, I know you have many obligations. It's one thing to say you're going to change, you're going to relax, you're going to calm down. It's another thing to do it. How did you achieve it this year? I mean, the program is still basically the same. You two are different.
I think the biggest help, Isabelle and my coaches have really made me realize that I didn't need to be so aggressive and so overbearing to do what I had to do and to get the job done. I always used to think that if you didn't put in 150% effort, then you weren't doing the job. And now I can put in 75 or 80% of the strength that it requires and still get the job done and manage well. And Isabelle's been there behind me to make me realize that I was doing the right thing, because sometimes I felt stupid doing it, and she was there to say, no, it looks really good and you're doing the right thing and it's helping us. So I think it's a big credit to them.
Well, I know I speak for Canadians from coast to coast tonight. History repeated itself. Congratulations, a world championship. I know you're going to skate in Lillehammer. Well done, Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler. Still to come, Kurt Browning. Let's go back to you, Chris Cuthbert.
Thanks, Brian. From two new world champions to a trio of Canadian greats, 62 world champion Donald Jackson keeping Elvis and Kurt loose. More from Prague after this.